When I watch reality TV, I never think to put reality TV and PTSD together. But I recently read someone wrote that reality TV gave me PTSD. And I thought, now that's an interesting concept. And so I just want to talk about it today. So join me as we explore reality TV and PTSD. Thank you so much for joining my channel, Ask Lois the Relatable Therapist. My name is Lois Goodo, and this channel is all about promoting positive relationships, whether they are family relationships, working relationships, friendships, any type of relationship, just promoting them so they can be positive. And I get my inspiration from reality TV, the news, or anything that I think is going to help me to help you have those positive relationships. And the good thing about it is, even though we see that it's reality TV, a lot of times it mirrors our lives. And so, what I do toward the end of this particular broadcast, I'll show how you can connect whatever we're talking about to real life. So, to make sure that you can have positive relationships. And so today we're going to talk about Love and Marriage DC. Yes, I'm back on OWN Network, the reality series, and I've just started watching Love and Marriage DC, and it is very, very interesting. But before we get started, let me go ahead and do my disclaimer. This video is protected by the Fair Use Act of 1976, copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. One of these days, I'm going to go ahead and write that so I don't have to keep saying it. But yeah, so I was watching Love and Marriage DC, and Monique Samuel, she was in the green screen, and she made this statement. She said that reality TV had given her PTSD. And I said, wow, I never thought about that. But as I look back on reality TV, the few that I've seen, I think about it and I said, you know what? I can make a case for being traumatic. And so first, I want to go ahead and look at a few people right quick, and I want to put them up on the stage. And this is Monique Samuels. She was on Real Housewives of Potomac. She's no longer on that show. Now she's on Love and Marriage DC. But while she was on Potomac, she said that in her green screen interview, she said that it gave her PTSD. And so I just kind of want to talk about her. And as I thought about it, I'm like, there were other people on reality TV that talked about the trauma and how traumatic it was. And so I just want to talk about Monique for a minute, that she was on, like I said, the Real Housewives of Potomac, and she was married for 9 years on season 5. And there was a lot of hurtful rumors about her child, her 3-year-old, not being her husband's. There were a lot of paternity issues. And then there was an altercation between her and her co-star, Candace Dillard. And I'm just thinking, wow, when you have certain issues that are brought up, and I understand that on the Real Housewives that, they have to bring up things and it's about the ratings, but there are just certain things that you just don't talk about. And that's what Monique said, that there are certain boundaries that you just don't cross, because when you cross them, there's no coming back. And to sit up there and talk about issues in her marriage, and to talk about there was paternity issues, of course, it's going to cause a lot of strife. And it was very traumatic. It was very traumatic for her. You have to go every day, because this was a working relationship, even though, they were getting paid, but it was her job. She was working because they were getting paid. And you have to go and constantly keep hearing that and hearing that. That's going to cause trauma. That's going to cause workplace stress. And so I understand how she said that this caused workplace stress with her. Now let's go to another person. The next person I want to kind of talk about is Mariah Huck. Huck, I think that's how you say her name. She's again was a reality show star, one that produced Married to Medicine. She brought the idea to the network. And the storyline she created, it revolved around a breakup between her and her best friend, Quad Webb. She got on the show and they were best friends. And there was a lot of accusations about one person wanting to sleep with one person's brother-in-law. The other person was accusing of using drugs. So that was that accusation. And then Mariah actually got into an altercation with one of the classmates. And this was one that was really troubling to me. Her daughter did not know that Mariah's husband was not her biological father. A castmate brought that out on the show, and that caused so much stress. It caused stress not with just with Mariah, but also her daughter didn't know that at the time. And so again, I'm looking at stressful, traumatic things that are coming out on the reality TV show that's causing stress. Now, just think you have to go to work every day with this person that disclosed some very personal and private information that you hadn't told anyone. Now, the whole world knows. And again, I get that this is a reality show and you bring out things about your life, but some things, if you haven't brought them out and you want to keep it private, I don't think other people should bring it out. I don't think others should bring it out because it makes it a stressful work environment. And there's a difference between, I think, having reality TV where you bring out things and you want to discuss it, than someone bringing out some personal, very personal things that in your life that you didn't want to address. I mean, just think about it. There are things in my life that I don't want to address, things in your life. Now, what if somebody put it out on national TV? And I get it. Some people say, well, they're on reality TV. They should expect this. But they don't expect you to go all the way into their past and dig stuff up. They're not expecting all of that. And then to be lying about it and making up things and then to joke about it and act like it's no big deal. Because when that came out, the person that brought it out, they were acting like it was no big deal. And I'm like, wow, to find out that your father that you thought was your father wasn't. Now they had to have a conversation with her daughter. Had to have a conversation with her daughter, and she wasn't ready to have that conversation. It's like somebody made the decision for her. So having those disagreements with the castmates, that was very traumatic. And then the last person I want to talk about, not that this is the last person, this is the last person I want to talk about because we can go through all the reality TV shows and look at traumatic things that happen. But this one, it stuck with me. And this is Buffy Purcell, and hers, it just like stuck with me because of the person that did it. Dr. Jackie is one of the doctors on Married to Medicine. She had a room full of people and she was promoting one of her books. Oh my God, it was so, I can even still now see her face. She was so shocked. The castmates were shocked. Why would you bring this out? This was something that was so personal. And you brought it not only to the people in the room, but you knew it was being broadcast on national TV all over, and you put her business out there. Buffy wrote in an Instagram post, she said, this was one of the most humiliating and painful moments in my life. If that's not trauma, I don't know what is. And even to this day, she still talks about how painful that is, how painful that was, and then the person that brought it out. So let's look for a minute at PTSD is a mental health condition that's triggered by a terrifying event, either experienced or witnessed. So there is a case to be made that it could be PTSD because PTSD can follow a traumatic event, but not all traumatic events end in PTSD. So there is a case that can be made if that traumatic event turned into PTSD, which is the symptoms and, withdrawal, anxiety and depression and all of that. But what I think that's really going on is that a lot of people are having workplace trauma and workplace stress. And that's what's going on in a lot of these reality TV shows because workplace stress can be stressful events. The experience is emotionally distressing or disturbing. Just think about all three of those people. Here you have Monique. They're talking about her child may not be her husband's. And now you got to deal with that on that end. Why would they say that? Who are you messing with? Who could the guy be? So now you got relationship stress because of what someone said. And then, of course, she had that altercation. And then here you have Mariah. Here, my child, again, talking about who's the father. That's something that I didn't want to share. That may be something that she wanted to share when her daughter got older, but now she has to put that out there now. And because of that, the person she had the altercation with was the one that said that information. And then she had the situation with somebody that was her best friend telling people she did drugs. Now she has to deal with that. She has to defend herself with that. And then the last person, Buffy, now you have this information that's out there for the world to see that you never even wanted people to know about. And so those are traumatic events, workplace stress, and trauma that you have went through. So then what do you do if you are in this type of situation? Because like I said, I want to kind of connect this because a lot of people go to work every day and they're dealing with workplace stress, workplace trauma. I do a lot of EAP counseling for individuals that have workplace stress. So the first thing to do is to acknowledge what you have. I know sometimes some cultures, they are taught to suck it up, keep going, don't worry about it. But I say you have to sit down, acknowledge it, and acknowledge what's going on in your body. Because if you're having stress, if you have trauma, your body is actually responding to it. You might not be eating, you might not be sleeping, you might have anxiety, you might have depression. There's a lot of symptoms that's going with it, and you need to stop and acknowledge this is what's happening to me. No, I'm not, I am strong, but no, I'm not going to keep just going through this and going through this. The next point is to see if you can get a support system. Sometimes on the job, you can get a support system within coworkers, colleagues that understand what's going on. So it's not like this is just you and you by yourself. You get a support system with your friends and your family. Have a support system where there's people that you can talk to. And of course, you can always seek help in the mental health field, seek help. That's always, always a good alternative because sometimes you may not want to share it with your friends or your coworkers, but you can talk to a professional. And then I always say, find some stress reducing techniques. There are some techniques that you can do that will reduce your stress. One of the things that I've done is I've written a book called Workplace Serenity Journal. And it's based on the preface of that one poem that says, God grant me the serenity, which is the peace, to understand the things that I can change and to know the things that I can't. And so I wrote this book, Workplace Serenity. It's available on Amazon. And that's one way when I say to have stress reducing activities, this is one way you can do it. And this is available on Amazon. And it has 160 prompts that will help you to reduce your anxiety. And you wake up in the morning and you find a prompt, and it actually has days on it. It has the morning and the evening. So even though it's a 60 prompts, it's really 120 because it's in the morning and in the evening. Day 27, giving grace in the morning. Practice self-compassion for yourself and others today. It may feel forced at first, but think about the ways you can extend this grace and write it down. So thinking about what are some things that you can do that you can extend grace. You can show people compassion. And then in the evening, it says, describe how you extended grace to yourself and others today. How did these gestures of compassion enhance your sense of fulfillment and contribute to reduction in workplace stress and your well-being? So it's full of activities. It's activities, eating activities, even using different scents, even exercising, mindfulness, even what you say, even electronic, telling you how to turn off the electronic. All of those things will help you to reduce stress. So again, it's available on Amazon. I'll have the link down below where you can purchase the book. Let me know if you purchased the book, go ahead and write a review. Let me know if you liked it. So if you experienced any of this, write it down. Let me know. Let me know if you've experienced any type of stress or trauma at your work and what do you do about it. Let's get this conversation started. You might write something below that can help someone else. And here's another video that I wrote that's going to help you on that journey to having positive relationships.